All right, welcome back to Arise Prime Time. I'm Somna Sambo. Well, to make sense of all you've heard so far, I'm now being joined in the studio by the current affairs analyst and professor of communications at Base University in Abuja, Professor Abiodun Adeniyi. Thank you so much, Prof, for joining us.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Well, regional agenda for development is what the Base Commission has been set up to do. How do you compare this with the Dawn Commission and NDDC, and then, of course, maybe Northeastern Development Commission, and the effort by the regions to actually compete?
Well, I think you have said it all. This one is quite different from the other ones, because the other ones had the initiative of the federal government to cater for a fertile place in terms of revenue generation. And here we're having the states coming together and trying to see how they can partner, collaborate, and maybe look inwards and see how they can enhance development, probably to complement what the federal government is doing, through the intervention of NDDC, Niger Delta Ministry, and of course there's a third one, amnesty, to some extent. It's a welcome development, but of course the danger or the downside is that their efforts are often weakened by politics and politicking amongst the stakeholders. Sometimes they often allow politics to becloud the primary interest as conceived by those who brought it about. He mentioned Professor Patu-Tomi, Godwin Obaseki at the early stage, and one other technocrat.
Yeah,
good idea, no doubt.
And all of that.
Governor Lee Elimoke.
Yeah.
No doubt it's a good idea, but the thing is just to make it work.
Yeah. Do you think the governors are actually committed? Do they look like people who will really make sure that this comes to the light of day? I mean, not just only when they need to meet politically.
They haven't met in a long time. We're just seeing them meeting recently now. And they have a very good Director General, or the one at the head of the person at the head of it, Ambassador Joe Keshi. All they need to do is just to give him more encouragement, more facilities, more encouragement so that it can power it in the right direction. There's no other region in this country, every other country, every region needs development really. But I think Niger Delta area, South region, should be in our focus for different reasons, particularly because they lay the golden egg.
Yeah, I mean, that's Nigeria's honeypot. Actually, we now move on to the issues of politics in a South state, Edo this time around. I mean, you would have heard my second guest talking about all he can do and how the Labour Party is prepared to challenge the APC and PDP. Do you think the LP, and it's one of his aspirants, are capable of challenging the APC and PDP?
Yeah, Barrister Kenneth Masang was a very lively person, sometimes very entertaining, and he's been very tenacious over the years, 20 years running for an office, and he's still very consistent. I commend his courage, but I don't admire him. It's not very easy, but again, running on the platform of Labour Party, by all means, Labour Party is not looking like a very potent party at the gubernatorial level in Edo State, for different reasons. PDP, APC, they look like the parties that are better grounded for different reasons. Parties revolve around, structures, people, resources, as the case could be, and you place that easily at the doorsteps of party APC and PDP, except a miracle happens. They won the presidential election because of the potency of Peter Obi and the dirty candidatures. Candidature, and you cannot, except that is transported into the gubernatorial election.
Yeah, you think that cannot be reignited?
No, it's going to
into the governorship election.
I'm afraid, except something. We cannot say
or
never.
Maybe depending
anyway.
on the candidate they actually throw up.
The candidates also matter, but even then, PDP is coming up, most likely coming up with an Asui Godalo, a very potent person, and APC, we're also making the argument, should also likely come up with a very potent person, and maybe in the person of a former Minister of Budget, National Planning, Clement Agba. By the time we're seeing this kind of combination, of course, we expect to see a vibrant, robust contest, and Olumide Akpata is not a bad person. Yeah, he said he doesn't know Edo, but he's not going to be a stranger, to political maneuvering. He was president of Nigerian Bar Association. And of course, he is also not, he's also well-to-do, so he's probably can muster resources and the network. And he has him to beat in the Labour Party.
Yeah,
so he has to surmount that obstacle first before we can even say he will come and confront people like Asue Godalo and maybe Clement Agba, you know, if the APC realizes that he's one of their best, or maybe their best, and puts him forward as their candidate.
All right. Kenneth Maswagmo actually talked about cartels in Edo State, people who are godfathers. Well, Obaseki had said that he wasn't going to make himself a godfather, but with what's going on, it looks like he's been translated into the new godfather in town, while the older godfather, Adams Oshomole, is one that had been set aside after the differences, and Obaseki had to leave. Now, in the Labour Party, do you think that they will have that father figure in Edo State that will actually withstand any maneuvering by either the godfather of the APC, Adams Ashomole, or maybe the godfather of the PDP, Governor Godwin Obaseki? I
heard you when you asked him that question. He said, "Yes, man, that he himself is going to be the godfather." Well, it's a very ambitious proposition that he made there. You know, I'm not seeing anybody clearly in that bracket. You know,
yeah, but he said they could actually drag Peter Obi into
except that Peter Obi comes in, but I don't see Peter Obi also participating in the campaign on an everyday basis, on a routinous basis, because he's got other things to do. It's a national figure. You know, it was a wave that came into this country, and of course, he still has a lot of promise. You know, but I don't know how much contribution he can make to him that will make people see a Peter Obi in him, you know, rather than seeing Peter Obi as a national figure that we know him as, you know.
All right.
But again, politicians are what they are, you know, they are very optimistic people, you know, they can be very promising, lively, entertaining in their pronouncement, and I enjoyed the interview, no doubt.
Yeah, and he also comes from Edo Central.
That's fine, but I will still class him as a probable, not a possible. Okay. In the way I will put, you know, and Asue Godalo, you know, and Clement Agba, for instance.
All right. Well, the battle is going to be in Edo Central, and it depends on where APC also picks its own governorship candidate from. But we must thank you so much, Professor Abiodun Adeniyi. It's of the Blaze University in Abuja here, and of course, it's Arise analyst. Well, that's how it's been for this edition of Arise Primetime. You join us again next week from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Goodbye, and thank you for watching. I'm Somna Sambo.